Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rob Swanson on the ride home again, and today on the ride home, I'm going to tell you why my team does more one-call closes than probably any real estate investor out there. And I'm going to give you a look-see right into one of our live calls. Let's take this back, and because this is what I'm thinking about on the ride home today. I'm thinking about why do our guys always close their deals on the first call? Well, the reason for that is because we don't want some other investor coming in and beating us to the punch. I get questions all the time about how do you guys close your deals over the phone? I know you guys do virtual investing, you invest remotely. We've got a sales team that works out of my office right here in Colorado, and we do all of our seller conversations, interactions, and everything that we do over the phone. And we have a rule in our office that you never get in trouble if you lose a deal because you're too aggressive, but you will get in trouble if you're too passive and you lose deals. And actually, you won't really get in trouble, you just won't have a job for very long. So our rule is the one call close. And so I want you to hear this setup, because this is the perfect setup right here to show you why the one call close works and why we beat other investors. As you're gonna hear in this little clip, not only is one of our acquisitions guys on the phone with the seller, you're gonna hear in just a second, but you're also going to hear that there's another investor at the property at the exact same time that we're on the phone with the seller, looking at the property, talking to the seller, meeting with him belly to belly, talking with him, and then they say the deadly sin of a sales or acquisitions person: let me go sharpen my pencil and let me get back to you. And so you're gonna hear this in just a second. In that moment when they say, let me go sharpen my pencil and let me get back to you, we come in and we close the deal. It's called the one call close. Take a listen to this.
Hey, did I catch you at an okay time?
Yeah, I'm good. Let me just step outside here real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got another investor's here right now taking a look at the place. So
Gotcha.
I'm trying to move quickly on this. So anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, she's just here for the first time taking a look, and she'd probably be a day or two before she has any feedback. But the house right next door sold a couple of days ago for $255, and it's roughly the same size. It's obviously a lot more updated, a lot more current. Yeah. Hang on one sec. Y'all done? Okay, you bet. Yeah, do you want my actual email, or can you hang on just one sec?
I can.
Yep. All right. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, what do you think of that? Pretty sweet, right? So there we are, talking on the phone with the seller, and now it's time to go through the script. And I'll tell you guys this: pros use scripts, amateurs don't. Pros use scripts, and pros not only use scripts the first time, but the second time, the 10th time, the 100th time, the 1000th time, the millionth time. When I talk to a seller, when I do the deal, I'm following a script. I do the same exact thing that our acquisitions guys are taught every single time. Why? Because it works. So this next little clip that I want you to listen in on is what we call the $15,000 question. Now, you've got to set this up right. You can't do it out of order. You can't do it wrong. You can't do it all kind of janky and screwed up, or it just doesn't work. You're going to get swore at, you're going to get hung up on, which is what most real estate investors end up having happen to them. They don't do this piece right. And so this is what we call the $15,000 question. Listen in right here.
So I guess the question is, if I could pay cash and close quickly, pay all the closing costs, I mean, what is the least you take for the property?
The least I would take. Well, you don't even want to come look at it first.
Well, no, the way I work is I spend the time up front. If I looked at every property that somebody was thinking they wanted to sell, I would not get anything done. So,
yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah, and it sounds like you've got intimate knowledge of the property, which is helpful. So as long as it is what you say it is, we're not going to have an issue.
I lived here for 4 years, so
yeah, absolutely, I get it.
So all right, I'll just cut to the chase because I got things I got to do also. I owe $141 on the place. I don't mind writing a check to get out of this house, but I don't want it to be a big check.
So the question that you just heard is, if it paid you cash, closed quick, and paid all the closing costs, basically if we solve your problem, what's the least you'll take? See, real estate investors screw that up. They don't ask that question. And they don't know how to ask that question. They don't know when to ask that question. And they don't know how to frame the conversation and the relationship with the seller prior to asking that question. Because when we ask that question, we're not offensive. The seller isn't angry at us because we framed it properly, we set it up right. Now, if you go copy that question and just go drop that question all day long, you're going to get hung up on. But here's the key. We ask that question, we then start our response. This is all part of the sales process. This is the scripting. So the next piece to this whole thing is what I call the silence gap. And I'll tell you what, we do silence better than most. And I'll tell you why we do silence better than most, because we practice silence better than most. Most people will not get into a conversation and let silence linger. And as you're about to hear in this next little clip, we win because we let silence linger, and we do silence really, really well. So listen to this. This is the sound of silence.
Yeah, I get it. I hear you. So, 141, yo. 141. I'll tell you what, boy, I give to charity, but I'm not a charity. 141. Yeah, I can't get there. I'll tell you what,
Now, coming on the outside of the silence, watch this. See, the next setup is there's the silence, and that builds some pressure, and that builds the sales process. Again, it's putting some urgency, it's putting some scarcity, it's putting some question and some thinking into the mind of the person that you're talking with. Following the silence and the perfect execution of silence is the second time we drop the $15,000 question. And in this next little clip, what I want you to hear is not only do we drop the $15,000 question, but now the $15,000 question actually begins to produce some results. And it's one thing for someone to tell you that sellers bring cash to the table at closing, that sellers are so done with a property that they'll pay to get it out of their life and off their mind and just clean up this mess that this property has created. It's another thing to hear it live, and it's another thing to watch it demonstrated and see it actually happen. And that is what happens in this next clip. Listen to this.
How about the least you could take is it's 141. Sounds like what's the least you take? I know you don't want to write a big check. I get it.
No, I don't.
What's a big check to you? What's
a big check to me? So I had planned this week on, between the interior, exterior paint and carpeting, spending about $6,000. So if I don't have to spend that $6,000, I'll write that check to somebody else. And I'm happy to walk away. So I'm talking 135, 136 is probably as low can go.
All right. So there it was. Sellers willing to bring cash to the table to get out of this thing, again, because we framed the whole deal right now. I want to take you back to the very beginning clips in this conversation. And I want you to remember, what was the value of the property that the seller stated at the very beginning? The property just next door sold for north of $255,000. This property isn't as updated. It's not as, up to date and all of that as the house next door. But the house just sold a couple days ago for $255,000. And you're seeing this process play out. We're $120-some thousand below what the house a couple days ago just sold for, in a better fixed up condition. So we know the spread and we know the margin in this. And I want you to listen to this final little offer and closing push, because this is what hooks the deals in and how we get the one call close. This is how we take the deal away from the other investor that was there face to face with the seller. People will tell you all the time that if you want to increase your closing rate, you've got to be face to face, belly to belly with the seller. I disagree 100%. And this call that I'm showing you right now is what we do hundreds of times a week. And this is what we produce, never meeting a seller face to face. So the people that tell you that you got to be face to face and you're going to increase your closing rate, they just don't know how to do what we do. They don't know how to close over the phone. So I want you to listen to this last little close, offer, and agreement to the purchase price, and how we wrap it up with a 2-condition close statement. Listen to this.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll do 135
Okay.
on 2 conditions.
All right, guys. Hey, that's it. That is why we get deals on a one-call close. Working virtually, working remotely, over the phone, even when we're competing with local investors that are right there meeting with a seller. In the same exact moment, when a seller's talking to another investor that they can see face to face, and we're on the phone, we're going to get that deal because we're going to work the one-call close. So, hey, this is Rob Swanson on the ride home talking about the one-call close.